Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well this morning here in Maryland. It's 6:52 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but wherever you are, I hope you're having an awesome day. I hope you have invited the love of the Lord into your affairs, into your day, into this season, into this week. And so I come to you this morning with the third video of the Naked series on this relationship channel. I'm so glad that you tuned in, and I hope that you're ready to go. All right, so today we're gonna go to Numbers 13. Again, I'm using the NIV, New International Version. I'm gonna go to Numbers chapter 13, verse 27 to 30. Okay. So if anybody knows anything about Numbers chapter 13, this was when the Lord asked Moses to send out spies to the promised land so that they could come back with a report. Okay, so that's basically in general what this scripture is about, this chapter is about. However, I do encourage you to go and read the entire chapter to get a deeper understanding and to get a deeper flow of where I'm going to be coming from. Okay, if you do have an idea, you should be able to flow with what I'm going to say. Other than that, we're going to focus again on Numbers chapter 13, verse 27 to 30. Okay, actually, I'll start at verse 26. Now they departed and came back to Moses and Aaron and all the congregation of the children of Israel in the wilderness of Paran at Kadesh. They brought back word to them and to all the congregation and showed them the fruit of the land. Then they told him and said, "We went to the land where you sent us. It truly flows with milk and honey, and this is its fruit." Okay. Nevertheless, the people who dwell in the land are strong. The cities are fortified and very large. Moreover, we saw the descendants of Anak there. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south. The Hittites, the Jebusites, the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea and along the banks of the Jordan. Verse 30, which is our last one. Then Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, "Let us go up at once and take possession, for we are well able to overcome it." Okay? All right. So again, I want us to remember that our backdrop scripture for this series is Genesis chapter 3, verse 7. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and made coverings for themselves. All right. So Moses, who is the leader of the Israelites in the wilderness, instructs the spies to go out, 12 spies to go out into the promised land and bring a report back to him, just as the Lord had instructed. So they go into the promised land, and this is the report that they bring back. Now we're going to coincide this report with what we've been talking about, which is nakedness, which is transparency, and how that is very critical, how learning that is very critical to becoming all we were created to be. It's very critical to embracing God's love as a good father. It's very critical to stepping into our purpose. It's very critical to overcoming any and everything that confronts us both on the inside and the outside in this season. Okay? All right. So the spies come back, 10 of them. 10 of them had this remark. They're like, "Yeah, the land that you sent us to is amazing. Here's the fruit, here are the grapes, here are the figs." If you read the entire chapter, you will know exactly what they brought as fruit. However, so they had a good report and they mashed it up with a very negative report. So in other words, there's giants everywhere. Okay. You can read the giants once again. There's the Hittites, the Jebusites. I mean, giants on every corner, the south, the north, the east, basically they were saying they were confronted with giants at every turn. In other words, what they were saying is this fruit doesn't really mean that much because the fact is that we were surrounded by giants. And guess what? We're not going back because those giants were scary. In fact, we were like grasshoppers in their sight. If you keep reading, even into chapter 14, finish up all the way to verse 33 and into a little bit of chapter 14, you realize that, they became very cruel to Moses. They're like, look, you're not sending us to that land. There's giants everywhere, like literally on every corner. When we look to the north, the south, the east, and the west, there's giants. There's these fortified cities that are against us. And how in God's name can we live there? Like, how can you say that God is sending us to that kind of place? Like, how can we send our wives and children into that kind of territory? Are you nuts? Like, they became so harsh and cruel. They literally wanted to fight. All right. And then Caleb, Caleb verse 30 says, let us go up at once. What are you guys talking about? And take possession, for we are well able to overcome it. Okay. So remember, Joshua and Caleb were the two that basically were like, guys, that's the land that the Lord promised us. If he promised it to us, that means we can enter the land and we can dwell in it. Why are you worried about giants if that's the land that God has assigned to us? That's what Caleb is saying, okay? So Caleb is definitely seeing and speaking from a whole different angle compared to these other 10 spies. So he's basically the minority and they're the majority, okay? And so Caleb is saying, guys, it's not about the giants. Yes, there is giants. Yes, there is these fortified cities that are so scary. But we didn't assign this land to ourselves. God gave it to us as a promise. That's why we were sent there to look at it. And these guys and the 10 spies are like, no, I'm not sending my family there. I'm not trying to go back to that place where there's all kinds of giants. I mean, we were like grasshoppers in their sight, is what they said. This is a report that they brought back. Now, number one critical point that I want us to realize is their report was accurate. They were not telling lies. They were not putting on a show. They were not putting on a facade. They were not saying too much that wasn't there. They actually brought Moses an accurate report. Okay, so let's remember that. However, that wasn't the report of the Lord. Okay, so today you may be confronted with a report or with a situation that is accurate. It's very factual. In other words, you're not telling any kind of lie. You're not making up stuff. Your fears are real. They're justified by facts. Okay? However, what you are perceiving and what you are seeing and what is factual to you is not the report of the Lord. Okay? So, out of this video, I want us to begin to look at everything that is confronting us, every giant that is confronting us, whether it's internal, whether it's fear, or whether it's an external situation that has brought out the fear in your heart. Whatever the situation is, it most definitely is factual, just like the report that these guys brought to Moses. Okay? However, how are we interpreting the facts that we're seeing on the news, in our lives, in our families, in our households, at work? How are we interpreting the facts? Okay? Remember, if you're in a certain setting at work, if you have an opportunity at work, if you have a business opportunity, you have an opportunity to be a mother, a wife, whatever opportunity the Lord has afforded you, just because the Lord has afforded you an opportunity does not eliminate giants, does not eliminate obstacles. In fact, when the Lord offers us opportunities, He knows very well that we're going to encounter giants, that we're going to encounter obstacles. Okay? He knows that they're for real. However, he's inviting us. Okay? He's not, remember we talked about a good father. He's not demanding, he's not harsh. He's inviting us into the way that he's seeing the situation. Okay? He's inviting us to have his mind, okay, and to carry his heart into the scenario, into the obstacle, into that fortified wall, into that gigantic situation. He's inviting us into his love. What does his love look like? His love looks like, okay, Lord, what is your heart for this season? What is your heart for me? What is your mind for me concerning this scenario, concerning this obstacle? What does your heart look like? Because right now, the way my heart is interpreting this gigantic situation, I can't handle it. It's scary. I'm full of fear. I want to run. In fact, I'm running. Okay, so Lord, what does your love look like in this situation? The Lord is always inviting us into his love as a good father. Okay? He's not out there waiting, okay, let me see what you're going to do. Or don't you know you should think like this? Or don't you know that's not how I see things? No, he's inviting us into his love. Remember, he's a good father. Okay? He's inviting us into his love. Okay? So to be able to accept that invitation, we need to be able to be transparent and tell him how we honestly feel about the situation. If it's scary, say, Lord, I'm scared. I'm scared. Like I want to run. In fact, I'm running. I'm about to close this door. I can't do it anymore. Okay? However, Lord, I know that you're a good father. So what does your love look like in this situation? Okay? And so here we're learning a scenario from Caleb, who was able to interpret an accurate picture of God's love for him and for pretty much the entire Israelite community in this scenario. And he said, guys, let's go up at once. We're well able to overcome it. He was able to, at that point, interpret the love of God very accurately. Remember, to be able to interpret the love of God accurately, we don't have to have all the answers. We don't have to have it all worked out in our brain. We don't have to have a plan. We just have to know that we are loved by a good father. How did Caleb know? A good father had brought them out of the wilderness, fed them with manna, rescued them from Pharaoh. Do you know who Pharaoh was? Pharaoh was like the king of the universe, and the Lord rescued them from Pharaoh. So Caleb had taken an assessment of what the Lord had done for them pretty much over a little less than 40 years at that point. Okay, he had taken inventory of what God had done for them at that point. And he was like, no, this is our land. Okay, if he rescued us from Pharaoh, this is nothing for him. These giants are nothing compared to Pharaoh. What are you guys talking about? We're well able to overcome. All right. So in this video, I want to think about how we interpret the obstacles before us, how we're interpreting what is before us. It may be one giant for you, it may be 10 giants for somebody else, but how are you interpreting every one of those giants? Are you interpreting it in the face of facts? Or are you interpreting it in the face of the love of a good father, which is always an invitation? It's never by force. It's never by expectation. The Lord is like, look, I have a better land for you. I have an elevation opportunity for you. I have an opportunity for promotion for you. But how are you going to interpret my love in the face of the obstacle that is before you? Okay? So I'm encouraging us to go back to, Numbers chapter 13, verse 27 to 30, and really sit with the Lord and allow him to give you an interpretation of your situation right now through the eyes of his love. Okay? Because right now we're sitting at a point where we're interpreting the situation factually, which means it's accurate factually. But is it accurate in the eyes of a good father? Is it accurate in the face of his love? Is that all that we can come up with with the love that he has afforded us. Okay? Remember, Genesis 1 is where we're trying to transition into. Okay? So right now, many of us are Genesis 3. Okay? We're naked. We're saying, oh my God, I want to run. I want to hide. This is too much for me. Okay? That's where we're at. We've discovered that we're naked. In the face of the facts, we have nothing to fight with. We have no weapon. We have nothing to go against this giant, this obstacle. But in the face of Genesis 1, though, which is very contrary to Genesis 3, which is the perfect will of God, what is the love of God? That lavish love that he has afforded us as of Genesis 1. What is he inviting us to? He has given us everything that we need to conquer that giant and instructed us to be fruitful. Okay? Now, we need to go before the Lord and ask the Lord, Lord, there's a giant in front of me. How am I expected to be fruitful? What does your interpretation of overcoming this obstacle look like, Lord? Because right now, I am naked. Right now, I am unable. Right now, I am incapable in the face of the facts that I see. Okay? All right, you guys, I have made this video so much shorter than the last one, but I'm excited that you tuned in, and I'm excited that you're transitioning into the love of a good father. See you guys. Bye.